perhaps the most appropriately. On this St. Patrick's Day, we can all have a fistful of bourbon as Conor Parisi attempts to overhaul Sindre Silva for the championship tonight. The American from Massachusetts has overcome numerous bouts of adversity and hopes to finally clinch a title in the Simracer Coin NASA Rallycross Challenge. But on the other side of that coin, defending champion Sindre Silva is attempting to do what only 3 drivers have done before him, and that is consecutively win a title. It's all to play for over the next hour as we welcome you to the Simracer Coin Championship Week here in NASA Sim Racing on the Automotive Sports Network. With Victor Vallee in the production truck and Cody Erdmann next to me in the commentary cube, I am Josh Mertz. And the most interesting thing about this season is that both championship competitors missed an event at some point during the season. Sindre in Indy and Conor in Wild West. And it's unique. If Conor can overhaul Sindre, he'll become the second American champion in the series after inaugural champion Brandon Lambert, who, big storyline, is bowing out at the end of this race. I'm going to toss it to Victor Vallee relatively quickly. We're going to have an interview with our top 2 in the championship. Victor?
Thank you, Josh. I'm going to say, coming up to the booth right now, we've got Sindre Silva. Sindre, go into this race here with a 5-point gap to the driver who's actually following you on track right now, Conor Parisi. So, what's your thoughts on the track? Do you think you can win this race? What's the game plan to win this thing, man?
Not try to show my pace that early, just trying to getting in the rhythm, getting the setup fine tuned, and just see how the races goes. I need to do a perfect quali, I need to do a perfect heat, I need to do some perfect feature to win this, so I have a pressure from Conor behind, that's for sure.
So definitely a lot of pressure, so just kind of having to be perfect tonight. Of course, let's say you are going to be going into this with that 5-point gap, so you'll have to finish second or higher and win your heat if he does that. So good luck tonight, Sindre. We're going to wish you the best out there and let you go practice a little bit more.
Thank you, guys. Good luck with the broadcast.
And that was Sindre Silva. And now we bring in the driver chasing Sindre Silva in points, Conor Parisi. Conor, Sindre said he's going to have to be perfect tonight. He's feeling the pressure from you. What do you have to do to win this thing?
Well, I have to be perfect as well, and I need someone else to be more perfect than him. So I have a bit of a taller mountain to climb, but I think we're up for it. Hopefully we put on a good show for the finale.
Absolutely. That's the most important thing, is to have fun and put on a show for the fans. And with that said, what do you think of the track so far? As I say, it seems like a really difficult track to get right.
I think this is the best rallycross track we have. I think it's dethroned Sonoma. So I'm excited for it. I haven't gotten to drive it as much as I'd like, but I guess now is as good a time ever to start.
Well, awesome. Good luck to you tonight. You got a 5-point gap to Sindre in the points, so you have to win the race, and he has to finish third or worse. So good luck tonight.
Thanks, Ben.
And that was Conor Parisi, second place in the standings. And Josh was going to say, I think this is going to be a one for the ages for sure.
As we always say that anything can happen in NASA Rallycross, but tonight is no other. Title permutations, words are hard, like you had mentioned. So it's really simple to say. All Conor Parisi has to do is win the race and win his heat race. Because if Sindre wins his heat race and finishes third, Conor will win the championship on a tiebreaker, count back on the number of wins. I think, if I look at it correctly here, Conor has 4 wins, Silva has 2 wins, and then we remember Bo Albert had those wins to open the championship the first 2 weeks of the season. What's interesting, like I said in the opener here, gentlemen, is that Conor had the issues in Norway. I was trying to speed up that script to get your interviews in. Conor had those issues in Norway, and he missed Wild West. So essentially, he's missed 2 races compared to Sindre's 1, but this is the first time, I think, actually, first time since 2017B, that a driver has missed a race and will win the championship in either of these cases.
Yeah, that's a tough feat, because especially now with how hard the competition is, it's like you have to be almost perfect, especially how for a while we had Bo, which was he almost had a perfect season going. And in like the GT series, we had Challenger. He's got almost exactly a perfect season besides one sprint race. So the competition is tough. So you got to make sure to almost show up at least every week and not have mistakes like what happened in Norway with Connor.
As for those of you new here on the Automotive Sports Network, thank you for joining us. It's Josh Mertz and Cody Erdmann in the commentary cube, Victor Vallee down in the production truck. Just so it doesn't sound like we're completely clueless as to what's going on, we have to stroke our egos just a little bit here, Cody. First and fourth on the all-time wins list of this series. I have 40, you have 18. Numerous championships, 6 for me, 2 for you. So certainly we know how to go under pressure. And one thing that I'll remember, that 2017 B season, that was Philip Kraus, his first championship. And that was when the Canadian missed the race in Lydden Hill. And if I remember correctly, almost won every other race or podium in that season.
Which, if you look at it, that's pretty much what Connor's done. He's either won or been up front every other race. So he's done exactly what he needed to put himself in this championship position.
And the only other time that I can remember that a driver has missed a race and won the championship was actually the inaugural season. And it ties into the end of that script there. Brandon Lambert, our inaugural champion, 5 race wins in his career here in NASA, and he will be bowing out after a long career, much like you and I. Think he's going to be joining us here next season, or he's going to be taking on some more admin duties at the league. So, to be perfectly honest, I think that's it with the old guard. Chris Wetz shows up once in a while running a race, but it's all new blood here in NASA Rallycross.
Yeah, and it's nice to see. Oh, we do have Phil too, who's been running, but and he wasn't like the original. He joined about halfway through our campaign that we've had going, and this way, yeah, I would say we have nobody left, unfortunately, which is a good thing and a bad thing. Yeah, we've switched whole operating systems with coming from NR to iRacing. And that's thrown a whole new challenge, especially for you. Obviously picked it up better than I did. I don't know. For me, it's a struggle.
These cars are very hard to drive. On screen there, Philip Kraus, 4-time champion of the series, and he is second on the wins list with 24 race wins. We ride on board Andrew Howell in the 666, Philip Kraus in the 19. So a lot of good things in the works for the rest of 2021 and into 2022, and we're going to make 10 years of NASA, which is absolutely crazy to think about, that we're going to have that, 10 years worth of this. You and I just kind of started this along with a couple of others. Back then, we were just kids having some fun, and here we are, world championship drivers in this series. I never thought that I'd say that.
Yeah, it's been a crazy ride. We tried iRacing. What was that? 2018. We tried it, and nobody seemed to be interested. Although that's right when the whole Rallycross portion of iRacing showed up, so there wasn't a whole lot of interest. But now that they've been running it a while, and there's been more tracks and more cars, it's been very beneficial for us. And now that we've had help with the Kingsburys and they're kind of connected with a lot of the top name guys, they're able to pull in the drivers that just keep elevating the talent more and more, which has been nice to see. As
we're going down nostalgia lane and our hair is getting grayer by the moment, let's really mention, if we take a look at our seating order, now obviously the top 2 are the championship competitors, and I'm going to tie this back to NASCAR in a minute. Look at the gap that they have between Robbie Larrill in 3rd. And what's interesting, this is just like the championship 4 in NASCAR. Those guys, every single year for that championship race, it is always 1st through 4th, the entire race. It sounds silly because I've won championships in races, but I guess now from an outsider point of view, do you really just elevate your game at the end of the season when you know you got to get it done? You gotta focus because
one, you're focused on the whole field and doing what you need to do, but your sole focus is just on that other driver. And so, like, them two have been pushing each other each and every week, and that just keeps elevating each other's game to the point now that they've showed up here and they're the class of the field yet again.
As 19 cars will be taking part here in the race tonight. We're going to have 4 heat races of 6 laps apiece. You have to take the Joker once. Top 2 will advance. The LCQs will be 5 laps. You have to take the Joker once. And the final is 10 laps, 10 cars, 2 Jokers. Real quick, Victor, hopefully you can follow me. Hopefully Philip Kraus doesn't wreck it. I'll try and let the viewers know about a lap here in Charlotte. Over the jump, very tricky to get right because you land and it translates right to pavement as Philip Kraus misses the apex. Hopefully I don't put him under pressure. You want to avoid those curbs on the left-hand side, avoid the tires on the right-hand side, and this section here, this infield, very hard to get right. It sounds like I repeat myself all the time, but 3rd, 4th gear, you got to use the torque at the lower end of the engine. Very slow. I can imagine that there's going to be some good passing through this section here. Back out on the asphalt, Joker on the left-hand side, clip the curb, don't hit the flowers, otherwise the florist will be mad. Hit the left-hand corner here, back onto the dirt, and past the start-finish line. A very quick lap here in Charlotte. But what's interesting is the start is on the front straightaway of the oval. They dive into the road course, as until here, it was using the NASCAR section of the course. And I believe they cross over here and they use what NASCAR was going to use when they had that longer oval course, Cody.
Yeah, they're kind of using like bits and pieces of like the NASCAR road course, and then along with the Legend Car road course that they run with the Legend Cars here during the winter. But yeah, I've done some testing on this course. It's a lot of fun. It's very technical for what of like the NASCAR circuit ones that we've gotten. I would say it's probably one of the most technical with double apex in turn 1 and 2. You got the jump, and then the asphalt and dirt transitions really kind of can mess you up, but you can also make a lot of time on them.
As Sindre 41.830, Connor 42.017, Robbie Larill, Josh Edmondson, and Ray Kingsbury round out our top 5. Like we had mentioned, title permutations. If Connor wins the race and wins his heat, and Sindre wins his heat and finishes in 3rd, they will tie, and Connor gets it on a count back. We'll keep you posted all evening long. Join the conversation, hashtag NASA Rallycross, hashtag ASNTV USA for all of that conversation. And broadcast the championship week and our series brought to you by Simracer Coin, the cryptocurrency made by Simracers for Simracers. They've been a huge partner of ASN and NASA. Check out their vision, mission, and platform, simracercoin.org. Thank you for Miguel Gomez for that consistent partnership. Philip Kraus is hitting the wall, hugging the wall around that sweeper. I am very excited to get this kicked off. We go in about 5 seconds.
Yeah, I'm very who I'm surprised with right now is the DGR car of Robbie. He's been quick in practice, quick in qualifying. Let's see if he can play what Phil did last week and possibly shake up this championship.
So 4 heat races, 5 cars, 5 cars, 5 cars, and 4 cars. And our championship leader and defending champion, Sindre Silva, in car number 63 on pole position. Ray Kingsbury will be on his outside. I think we grid 3 cars wide on this first row. Magnus Okenhaug in the 26. Back row, Brandon Lambert and Travis Seymour, as it is a 3x2 grid. This start's going to be tricky as Sindre is going to have the line into the corner, but Magnus can almost sweep past. It's a Last Lap Motorsports front row, Heat 1 in Charlotte. Off the line, Kingsbury and Okenhaug, I think, are going to let their teammate just take the lead into turn 1. Team orders are banned. We know this, and it's into turn 1. Sindre leads ahead of Magnus. Kingsbury hangs back. He's in 3rd. Lambert in 4th. Seymour in 5th. Clean start so far for the 3 LLM cars. Remember, they won that championship a couple weeks ago. They clinched that. Subaru's got that clinched. We don't worry about those championships. We worry about the drivers, and Sindre Silva, Cody, off to a great start.
Yep, and you got all of his LLM teammates right behind him, so Yeah, it's not team orders, but we definitely can see that they're making sure that they put their best effort where they need to be.
As Okenhaug following his compatriot Silva in the 63. Let's see who will joker on this first opportunity. The leaders will not. Kingsbury does in the 25. So we can see that first joker exit. He's going to come out behind Seymour, actually in front of Seymour, sorry, in the 144. Seymour into Kingsbury there in the 25.
As we got Brandon Lambert up in P3 and Okenhaug in the transfer spot at the moment here. I could see Magnus being the other car to transfer in, but let's see if Lambert can put up a fight and make it into his final.
And breaking the fourth wall, we know that Alabama under tornado warnings, I think, so Lambert had a little bit of a connection issue there. I'm surprised that he is racing, but of course he wants to make this final event. He did lose power, so unsure if he's going to be able to maintain this. Okenhaug still holds second. Kingsbury pips Lambert out of the joker there, and it's interesting. I thought that this track would be like Daytona, where there's the commitment line, but apparently that line means nothing on the exit of the joker, so yeah. Victor Vallee corrects me there. That is the pit exit line for the Roval, so shows how much I researched for this one.
Although you kind of would think that they would make that a commitment line, because like Daytona, you could come out of that and just totally clean someone out. Or try chopping in going into turn one and wrecking the both of you. So I could see where that would actually probably be a smart idea. Maybe we'll have iRacing look into that.
As cross flags here in Charlotte for heat number 1, 4.9, make it 5, just make it easy. 5 seconds for Sindre Silva over Magnus Okenhaug. The two Norwegians pulling away. Last lap was 42.545. Magnus a 45.6. He had jokered. So Delta looks like it's about 3 seconds, Cody. And it's an interesting joker. I ran a couple laps here myself. And like you were mentioning in the open, it's very hard to get right. I think Sindre is just going to joker on this last lap. He has the Delta over Magnus if we look at that Delta. If we do some simple math of it's 3 seconds.
Yeah, because you got the tight chicane, and then like it's a blind corner in because there's so many openings in the wall. You're guessing, and it'll take you a couple times to get it right in practice to finally figure out like where your line needs to be and where you need to turn in and hit the brakes.
1.1 second advantage that last lap alone for Sindre Silva. And we remember at the beginning of this season, one of the team members, I think it was Victor or Chad, they asked Sindre, what are you going to do to win this championship? And this is the drive of a champion. He is laser focused, no mistakes, takes the joker, takes the white flag. And I think we know how fast Connor is, but I think Sindre's on another level here tonight.
Yeah, I've been watching him here in this heat race, and I don't think he's put a wheel wrong yet. So he's put in a ton of work and a ton of time with the setup and getting his line down, so it's second nature to him.
As final corner for Sindre Silva. He's done what he needs to do to get one step closer to the championship. He wins heat number 1, pole position in Charlotte, transferring as Magnus Okenhaug. Into the LCQ, Ray Kingsbury, Brandon Lambert in his final race, and Travis Seymour in the 144. And I wonder how Connor Parisi's going to respond. I only say that because, not to discredit any of our successes, we had a much smaller field, much more condensed field. You have to sit through 4 races now, if you're Sindre, to get to the feature. We had to sit through 2. So that anxiety is going to be eating him alive.
And actually, yeah, we for a while, I think, especially the ones that I was winning, we did heat races, then we did the semifinal. Transferring more, and then LCQ.
Yes, you did correct me there.
So
real quick, Parisi, Moftah, Howell, Wetz, Dipple. I'll go back to your point here in a second. After we start, heat number 2. Let's see if Parisi can maintain that gap on Silva. Down to turn 1, side by side with Howell into the first corner. Moftaw backs out in the 191. Over the curb goes Parisi. He's going to hold the lead. Howell nearly into the wall. He had to back out. Side by side with Wetz. Dipple in the 34. Wetz pushes out wide. Nearly gets into Howell in the 666. And leading at the start-finish line is Parisi over Moftaw. Wetz out wide. Gets passed by Howell and Dipple. Dipple in the 34. Tags the 666. Over the jump, it's clean. Parisi, this is what he needs to do. But Cody, if you're Sindre, you have to sit through, Victor corrected me, 5 races until the feature. It's not like ours where you only had to do 2 or 3 races to wait.
Yeah, and it eats at you. It does. I've done it with my running late models and everything. Waiting, you qualify in, you're waiting through all the heat races, and you're
Wet
excited.
Jokers. The first opportunity, as Victor Vallee in our headsets here on the production truck says that's very uncharacteristic. It absolutely is. Chris Wetz never jokers on the first lap. Someone check that 71 for an imposter, because normally the man from Texas does joker on the last lap. He's behind Howell here in the 666. Not looking good for the 71.
I wonder if you looked into my notebook, because usually if the joker's longer, then I would take it first. So I wonder if he kind of peeked at my notes, possibly.
As no joker from second and third so far. Parisi pulling away. His last lap was a 58.6. Granted, it was the first lap of the race. He now runs a 42.3. 44.1 for Marwan. 43.2 for Dipple. And it's again the championship competitor a second ahead of the rest of the field per lap almost.
Yeah, our 2 championship drivers with Connor and Sindre, they put in a ton of time, because and it shows with them pulling away from the field.
"50 laps of practice" is what we're hearing from Victor Vallee on Sindre Silva. So, lots of practice being put in by the Norwegian, and I'd like to think that the Jim Beaver Esports squad, Connor Parisi, did that as well. Remember, Parisi is a privateer champion of the Simracer Coin NASA Rallycross Challenge, but it's, for lack of a term, it's not as prestigious as it used to be. As when we transitioned to iRacing, it used to just be single car teams were technically privateer. Parisi, being a world championship class driver, really smoked the rest of those single car teams, so technicality's sake, he is a privateer champion. But knowing Connor, even if you don't know him too well, you'll know by his driving, I don't think he really cares about that stat particularly.
No, like he's told us, all he worries about is the trophies at the end of the day. As we had Marwan, he jokered the last lap, so now we have Dipple in the P2. I'm kind of looking forward to this battle, seeing which one of the 2 Subarus here will make it into the final.
And Dipple in the 34, the winner of last season's finale in Crandon, showing some good speed in this 34. Next season going to certainly be exciting. We'll keep you posted throughout the social media channels on that one and that news. Dipple jokers in the 34. Moftaw already took his joker, so that is the rotation there. Moftaw into the transfer spot. Parisi 5.5 seconds ahead of Moftaw. Make it 5 now. Dipple third. Howell and Wetz the rest of the running order. This is not over yet, though.
Now let's see if Dipple can put enough pressure on Moftaw. See if Moftaw will make a mistake, or if Dipple will be able to make something happen here.
Dipple dives it into the corner, side by side. It's Marwan versus Dipple, former race winners. 3 versus 1 to the inside. Dipple goes on Moftaw, nudges him there as Parisi has won the heat race. We won't worry about that. We're going to focus on this battle. Final couple of corners with John Dipple and Marwan Moftaw, and Moftaw holds off Dipple to transfer in heat 2.
Definitely good effort by Dipple. Tried everything he could there.
As Howell and Wetz round out our order, the gap is still 5 points for that championship advantage to Sindre Silva.
my question now as we've seen these first two starts, are they going to do that in the final for him? Because we've seen everyone kind of be a little bit nicer to him on these starts in the heat, but the final's different.
As we get ready for heat number 3 in Charlotte, Robbie Larill, Matt Kingsbury, Jason Hook, Diane Feldman, and Daniel McDonald making a return. The Scotsman for the LRL racing team joins his British teammate, John Dipple. So no championship competitors in this race. Championship winning competitors, anyways, in this race. Green flag. We'll see what happens. Kingsbury spins the tires off the line. He's going to get sandwiched there by Feldman and McDonald. Into turn 1. Larill and Hook. Hook into the wall. Kingsbury into the back of Hook.
Looking like the controller unplugged there.
Pushed it out wide and into the fence. Went Hook in the 137. And let's see what will happen. We know when people drive it off into turn 1 at the Roval, they tend to win. We were reminded of Brad Keselowski and Chase Elliott in the NASCAR Cup Series. So let's see what will happen. As McDonald in second in the 95, pushing it wide. Feldman in the 84, she is poking her nose around a transfer spot. So good for her for DGR.
Yeah, as you got DGR 1-3 at the moment. As we got, it doesn't look, Kingsbury Jokers.
As Matt's going to get his slowest lap out of the way, taking a page from our books here. Hook does not joker, so Hook will get ahead of Kingsbury. No, they're side by side. This is for 4th, keep in mind. Contact between them. Kingsbury way out wide in turn 1, into the wall. Hook is going to give him some room there. Feldman off of the jump, and she rolls it. Turtled is the 84. We're going to take a look here. She hit the wall on the inside. Tried to get it going and drove off of the jump. So hitting that wall there on the inside costed her so much time.
Yeah, that jump it gets real slick there, and you can. Most of the time, I've seen a lot of people, they slide off the other side, but she was trying to save it, and unfortunately, just got out from under her.
I don't know if I'm crazy or not. I feel like that just narrows up. Maybe because you're drifting out of turn 2. But the racing line narrows way up because of the momentum. Completely irrelevant to this. I was looking at Robbie Larill while we were still in replay. He has locked it up going back out on the asphalt from the middle sector in the dirt every single lap. So I don't know if he is going to be able to hold this gap over Kingsbury or McDonald.
Well, we'll see if he can do it. He's got a 6-second gap at the moment, as Matt's putting pressure on McDonald at the moment here.
Scotsman versus American. Subaru versus Volkswagen. Larill takes crossed flags. These two have jokered in second and third. Kingsbury hits the wall and remove everything that I just said about the transfer spot race, as McDonald takes a sigh of relief.
Matt's fast. He just sometimes makes mistakes and it costs him, and then it just starts compounding as he's into the wall again.
As that's the only thing, is we know how fast Matt Kingsbury is, but when something goes wrong, it just continues to snowball and it gets worse and worse. So last lap with Renovo might not be represented in the final just yet. We still have LCQs to go through, but 2 laps to go for Robbie Larill. 8.2 seconds to Daniel McDonald. McDonald has a 2-second lead to Kingsbury. There are no jokers in question aside from Larill, but Larill has the 3-second delta that he needs to hold that advantage.
Yeah, he's doing everything he needed. As we saw, he was the 3rd fastest. So far, we've gone 1, 2, 3 as we're coming to the white flag here. On the fastest guys winning their heats.
As we know that Kingsbury is quick, and he gets quicker when he's angry, just like Philip Kraus. He's closing in on McDonald. He's got 1 lap to get it done. McDonald runs it wide, I think. Looked like it at least. The gap was 8/10 he took away, but as we talked about him again, vehicular gymnastics for the 21. as Feldman out in front of her teammate. Remember, she is off the lead lap in the 84. So Robbie Larill, a surprise, who was third fastest in qualifying. He will win heat number 3 in Charlotte. And DGRX gets another heat win. I think it's their 3rd win in their career here in NASA. And Daniel McDonald, making a reappearance in the series, transfers for the LRL racing team. As Hook, Kingsbury, and Feldman to the LCQs.
I think that's kind of what we were more expecting in the start here, with not having championship guys. It's being a little bit more back to normal.
And speaking of back to normal, this almost feels like a heat race of the old with only 4 cars in it. Matt Hartley, Josh Edmondson, Philip Kraus, and Romain Rateau. So, 2 former champions of the series. And as we get ready to go, Philip Kraus feeling a little bit under the weather here in car number 19. So, well wishes to my former teammate, former colleague here on ASN. So hopefully the Canadian not only obviously gets better, but maybe gets into a transfer spot here.
As Hartley's not in a all-white car this week.
I noticed this car. I don't know what he's sponsored by, but it's a beautiful car, and we'll see if it can transfer in Heat 4. Green flag, Rateau, one of his lightning starts, but he failed on the second phase of that start. Down to turn 1. Hartley closes the door on Edmondson. It turns the 58. Kraus takes the lead.
As Kraus gets a perfect start and rips around outside of all of them.
Hartley, Rateau. We know how fast Edmondson is, so don't count him out, but it looked like Hartley, they were still 3 wide, and you can't go 3 wide into that 90-degree corner, essentially. Someone's got to give. And unfortunately, it was Josh Edmondson in the 58. Rateau is all over the back of the 48 of Hartley here.
And unfortunately, at the moment at least, it doesn't look like we're going to go 4 for 4 on top qualifier in their heat, winning their heat.
Hartley runs it wide in the 48. The former champion under pressure from Romain Rateau, the Frenchman. Nobody jokers. Hartley does it the last second. I was going to think to myself, there's no way you'll take it side by side through that corner as Phil leads at the end of the first lap.
No, that was a smart call by Hartley. Obviously, he's a champion. Just joker, get away from him, run your lap, and then run him down. So then when he takes a joker, it's an easy pass. Don't really have to do much work to do it.
As Edmondson jokered as well, but Hartley, the 2020A Simracer Coin NASA Rallycross champion, rejoined our series late a couple weeks ago, and it's great to see the Australian back in the championship. Motorless Motorsporters no more. At least I don't think. Don't quote me on that, but at least they're not here. So Hartley running his own little private effort in car number 48. Top 2 have not jokered yet, Cody. We know how fast Phil is. I think it's just going to be a battle on the transfer spot again.
Yeah, it's gonna be really close here. It's curious if Edmondson can shake things up, possibly if he can reel him in or out, or if Hartley will be fast enough to reel in Romain, and then once Romain jokers, just make the easy overtake.
As I'm taking a look off monitor, so again, fourth wall breaking. Given the fact that America versus Australia, it's a ridiculous distance, that was a net code contact between the 58 and the 48. And unfortunately, the net code makes you think that you're right on top of them when they were a foot away. So I don't think it was a matter of people turning into each other. I think it was just, unfortunately, the nature of distance.
I will say, too, looking at all the lap times here, everyone is like all in the 43-second bracket. So you're not really gaining or losing much time to each other.
Edmondson 43.1, Hartley a 4.62. Rateau was the slowest, but even then he was 0.3 off. He ran a 7.55 and a 4.24 for Kraus. So this heat very evenly matched, and it's interesting, and it's interesting and unfortunate that we had that net code on the first start, because I think if everyone had survived turn 1, we would have everyone on top of each other right now.
Although, 2, we still have 2 cars of Joker, so it may kind of shuffle them into a real tight bubble here, come to the end.
As Kraus and Rateau equal on lap time, Hartley 43.5, Edmondson 43.7. Those top 2 have not jokered as we take a look at our info there on our graphic. The gap was 2.4, then it was 4.8 from Kraus to Rateau, and then Kraus to Hartley. So gap is 3 seconds, so Hartley might have this here.
Yeah, it could be possible as Rateau Joker, so we're going to find out real quick. As he
The
went wide
Frenchman
going in.
in the 23 will Joker. Hartley's going to get him on the exit here. White flag. Rateau, better run. Contact between them, and it sends the 23 off the track. And we know how aggressive Rateau is in the 23. Very upset.
If anything, I would say that would kind of on Rateau not looking when rejoining the racetrack there.
Yeah, we're not here to speculate or make calls, but we do know that the Joker exit is that exiting car's responsibility. Philip Kraus in the 19 will Joker. I don't think he's going to be contested. As Edmondson and Rateau are getting together, I don't know what's going on voice chat. Phil Kraus will win Heat 4. Hartley transfers, and Rateau bulldozed Edmondson out of the way for the third spot. All I saw was major contact and Edmondson's name pop up in chat, so it's probably not a fun time.
Yeah.
As we were trying to get a replay and iRacing doesn't work with us, so interesting to see that we had that incident there. C Main here in Charlotte. Ray Kingsbury, Jason Hook, Lambert, Matt Kingsbury, and Travis Seymour. So 5 cars for 1 spot. Edmondson's disconnected. So I think he is very mad.
I think he's decided that he's just going to call it a season.
So unfortunate to see that happening, but might sound a little selfish. Thankfully, it's not one of the drivers in the feature. As we get ready for the C Main, first of our 5-lap consolations here in Charlotte. Green flag, Lambert misses the start. Kingsbury comes over into Hook. That's not very Ray Kingsbury-like. Down into turn number 1. Hook will hold the spot. Lambert behind, and the Kingsbury brothers now side by side. Seymour gets into Lambert, shoves the 46 out of the way, and Jason Hook leads at the beginning of the first lap. Matt's going to bowl his way through Ray here in the 21 versus the 25. Travis in the 144 getting close. Off the road again goes Wreck-It Ralph, and he hits the tires and doesn't make it over the jump. Jason Hook pulling away from the Kingsbury brothers. It's about 3 to 4 car lengths here as we enter the dirt.
Let's see if the Kingsburys can work together here and reel them in, put pressure on them.
As Ray bulldozes his brother out of the way. We know these two sibling rivalry makes it so much more intense. Ray will Joker on the first opportunity here on lap 1. And he is the only, Lambert does as well in the 46. Hook leads at the end of the first lap ahead of Matt Kingsbury, ahead of Ray Kingsbury, Lambert, and Seymour also Jokers in the 144.
Yeah, not sure what Matt was doing there going into the that dirt right-hand hairpin. He swung it out super wide and left the door open enough for 3 cows to get through.
You know what the funniest thing is you make that joke and you're from Wisconsin and
Exactly.
Cheese come from cows. So it's an interesting line. When I ran this, I would not go all the way to the grass, but the only thing that I can think of is just like Sonoma, you put your wheel on the grass. Grass is more grippy than dirt for whatever sciencey reason.
Because iRacing.
And precisely. And Ray will get by Matt. It looks like no, Matt's going to have the run, exiting the Joker. These two are still going to be battling, and Hook has not Jokered yet. So this is crucial.
As going through the Joker there, Matt got up on 2 wheels, surprisingly. I was waiting for that little beetle to roll over, but it didn't. Let's see now if they can put some good laps and stop fighting each other like they probably do in their bedroom when they were younger.
As the delta is 3 seconds, and that's what Hook has. So I think these guys have finally calmed down. They've realized one of us will make the final if we stop floundering around and racing each other. And I think that Hook might... Honestly, it's a rock and a hard place here, Cody, because if I'm Hook, I want a Joker on the last opportunity, so I know that I'm going to essentially be guaranteed potentially this win. And it's kind of hurting the Kingsburys, because if Hook doesn't Joker, they're going to wait and wait and wait, and they're not going to fight each other to even get the win. So it's an interesting strategy here.
Yeah, and especially with how the Joker comes out, the cars that don't Joker are going to have more of a run coming to the line. So even though you may be out when you exit the Joker, by the time the line's a little bit after the exit, so they may be able to pass them from the exit to the line.
I think this is going to be a race between the brothers here. Hook takes the white flag. The gap is 1.5 seconds. Ray smells this transfer spot in the 25, getting very close to his brother in the 21. I hate to say it, but Hook's not going to transfer as he has to Joker, so we have to focus on these brothers here. Exiting the asphalt, back onto the dirt. Ray pushing so hard in the 25.
As Ray knows his brother all too well, put enough pressure on him and he'll probably crack.
Pushing it wide is Hook. Side by side in contact are the brothers. Ray's gonna stop. He was gonna let his brother through, but he didn't want Lambert to take that spot, and I think this actually might have hindered them. As Jason Hook, off of the Joker, he's gonna take the win and beat the Kingsburys in the C main.
As neither of the Kingsburys that we thought were gonna make it, because instead of going for the win, they decided to wreck each other's chances.
Wow. Ray Kingsbury and Matt Kingsbury's chat have both been disabled by Philip Kraus.
That's a smart move.
As we get ready, gentlemen, for our B main here in Charlotte, and it just gets better and better. We're supposed to have 7 cars. Edmondson's not here, 6 cars. So we only have 5. Math is hard. Green flag. Rateau gets a start over Dipple into turn 1. The Frenchman wants to get redemption, kind of unintentionally, potentially, maybe rhymed. Dipple takes the lead. Howell in third, Rateau in second. We know how quick Rateau is. Gives the 34 a little nudge here in turn 1, and he turns the 34, and Howell's into the wall, and so is Rateau. And Chris Wett's in second. Contact, and Wett's over the jump, and over goes the 71.
As the 23 decides to be the bowling ball into all the pins this week, as now he's in the wall.
And Chris Wett's, all he says in chat is K. And we know Chris Wett's famously doesn't have a mic. Romain Rateau disqualified by race control.
Yeah.
I have not seen that ever as a live. Even when I was racing, I've never seen a driver be disqualified live. That's a first.
I am not surprised, to be honest. He bowled through most of the field, and he's been kind of having a reputation the last couple weeks. So, your actions do have consequences here.
This puts Andrew Howell in the transfer spot in the lead of the B main.
With Diane being P2.
And I don't know if they have not jokered. Diane Feldman 1:04.120. I think she was one of the only cars that was not caught up in that cluster on the start. I'm taking a look off monitor. She's the only car that did not hit another car on the start.
She played it smart and let everyone kind of just wreck each other and hopped into P2.
45.7 for Diane Feldman compared to a 44.1 for Howell. It's good to see DGRX up front. Not only in the B main, but the heat race as well for Robbie Larrill. So I just consistently think of DGRX. They're a group of racers at the core, and I think I compare them to Racing Point and Force India and that same Jordan team from F1, that same Silverstone-based team.
Get kind of also like Toro Rosso a little bit, that kind of vibe.
Like Minardi, they push, and they just want to race.
Yep, as Howell jokered and Diane.
So did Feldman. Wetz into the wall in the first couple of corners here. We were just about to talk about how he jokered on lap 2. The man from Texas not having a good race after he got hit by Rateau on the jump there. So Howell was 0.6 of a second up on Feldman that last lap as we come to the white flag of the B main.
Howell did exactly what he needed to do. got through the mess and then was able to check out and run his own race.
White flag for the 666. I haven't said that in a long time. Wetz and Dipple battling. This is for third. This will be for 13th overall in the classification. So you do get a couple points out of this one. As Howell, Feldman, Wetz, Dipple. That is our running order. As remember, no Edmondson and Rateau got disqualified on that start. Dipple tries to dive to the inside of Wetz. Can't get it done. Our 10th and final seed tonight in Charlotte will be Andrew Howell in the 666. We're going to pay attention to Wetz and Dipple. Feldman comes home in 12th. Dipple and Wetz beating and banging for 14th place. And Dipple will bring it home in 14th, and Wetz will bring it home with 1 point in 16th. As 18th is Edmondson, and 20th is Romain Rateau. As our final pre-race show of the season, we bring back Victor Vallee, and I will see you guys in a moment.
That was entertaining.
No kidding. With that said, I believe, this sets up what I was talking about in the pre-race show. So both Sindre Silva and Connor Parisi. For Parisi to win the championship. We will bring up the points that have not been updated since, but just add 3 points to both Sindre Silva and Connor Parisi's total. The gap is still 5 points. So for Connor Parisi to win the championship, Sindre Silva will have to finish third or worse. Now, with that said, I don't think that's possible, as if you see at the very bottom there, you see Jason Hook, who just won the C main, I believe, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
And you can't see it on your screens what that gap is. That's 93 points. We have that Shamrock down there for St. Patrick's Day. So happy St. Patrick's Day to everybody. So I think these guys are going to need a little bit of the luck of the Irish to win this thing, especially Connor Parisi. To win the championship, as you see him flash underneath the camera in turn number 1.
It's all gonna matter on the start. The first half a lap is gonna be the difference. If Connor is able to get a clean start and Sindre doesn't, Connor has a chance. If Sindre gets a clean start and gets the whole shot, I don't think, unless a miracle happens, I don't think Connor has a chance, because we've seen when Sindre gets out front, he's gone.
Your front row will be Silva on the inside, Parisi in the middle, and then Liril on the outside, if I'm not mistaken on that. I think that's how they're going to line up for the Rallycross start with the 3 cars on the front row. Philip Kraus will take the inside behind Sindre Silva. It's not like the old NASA Rallycross where you could choose your starting gate. You get it chosen for you by iRacing themselves, so makes it a little bit more interesting, I guess, is the best way to put it.
Yeah, it's all just luck of the draw. What he racer in, what you win or take second, so it's gonna be a good one, and it's all gonna come to the start. It's crazy to think a championship is gonna be determined by a start, but it is. It's just kind of like the Supercross feel. It's the final race, final start. If either one gets a whole shot and the other one gets mired back in traffic and then gets screwed in, a couple people joker, or they joker early and then they get stuck in traffic, it could all shake up. So
exactly,
the start is the most important of their lives.
It's going to be interesting to see when they take their 2 jokers. We have 2 jokers. We'll go ahead and bring up the format. Of course, we've gone through pre-qualifying. We didn't have 28 entries, so that doesn't matter. And then, of course, the heat race is 6 laps jokering once. We saw that in the consolation events as well. So we get down to the feature. It is 10 laps, 2 jokers. So it'll be interesting to see when these guys take their jokers here. If I am Connor Parisi, I might go really aggressive with it and just take them on the first 2 opportunities I can get. get some clean track in front of me, and then try to track down Sindray Silva.
I would do that if he does not get a good start. Like, if he gets to start where he's like mid-pack, it would probably be the smartest for him to do that, because then he would set himself behind the field a decent way, and then he can just start clicking off laps and start reeling people in, and then when they joker, he should be able to jump them, if not 1 to 2 people at a time, depending on how many joker on that lap. But
Yeah.
I know I keep harping on the start here, but I think if you look through the field, we have some guys that have never won, and some guys that have, I believe, maybe their first final with Howell.
I believe Robbie Larill, I think this might be his first final, along with Andrew Howell. Both of those drivers have not won, but it's a mix of champions and first-time competitors here, or drivers who have not won an event. I think there's a couple guys on here: Jason Hook, Andrew Howell, and then Daniel McDowell and Robbie Larill. Easy for me to say. I believe those 4 have not won a NASA Rallycross event.
Yeah, I know you don't want to be that guy that implicates a championship. Cough, cough, me last season GT America. But you still want to run your own race and get the best finish you can.
Exactly. And with that, we wrap up warm-up, and I transfer this microphone once again back over to Josh Mertz, the voice of the Simracer Coin NASA Rallycross Challenge. Josh?
As we get ready for round number 186 overall of the championship and the 10th and final round of the 22nd season of the Simracer Coin NASA Rallycross Challenge. Josh Mertz, Victor Vallee, Cody Erdmann for the Automotive Sports Network tonight. Thank you guys for joining me. Thank you all for viewing and watching and hanging out with us. Our race series and broadcast brought to you by Simracer Coin, the cryptocurrency made by sim racers for sim racers. And our grid looks like this. Front row, Sindray Silva, Connor Parisi, Robbie Larill. Second row, Philip Kraus, Magnus Okenhaug. Third row, Marwan Moftah, Daniel McDonald, Matt Hartley. And on the back row of the grid, Jason Hook and Andrew Howell. It's a winner-take-all scenario, essentially, for the championship leaders. They are equal on points to where they started because they both won their heat races. Connor has to win, and Sindray has to finish third or worse, and the championship will be tied. But it comes down to this: 10 laps, 10 cars, 2 jokers, and it's all to play for here in Charlotte. We go green in Charlotte, and off the line, Philip Kraus gets a good start, but he does not beat the championship competitors down to turn 1. Side by side, it's Silva versus Parisi, and contact between them already! And then Parisi saves it, exiting the corner. Kraus contact with Moftah, over is Larill in the 213, and everybody crashes in the first corner. Howell and Kraus contact together. Larill back on track after cartwheeling off of the corner. And Sindray Silva holds the lead. Car length between the 2 championship competitors. I'll give you a moment, but what a start here in Charlotte. And Parisi to the inside of Silva here in the 63 versus the 11.
I think everyone was trying to play nice there in the beginning, not to get into the 2 of them, and they decided to get into everyone else.
As contact between them exiting the corner there. They do not joker on this first opportunity. I think they're going to be racing equally on the same strategy. Dare I say it, Hartley jokers in the 48. Top 2. Remember, this is for the championship. 63 versus 11. Not only does Sindray have to fall from second, he has to finish third, so Parisi's got some homework to do.
Connor's gonna have to keep applying that pressure and keep showing his nose in the spots and either faking them or just get into Sindray's head as much as he can and see if he'll crack.
Into the sweeper once again. We know Parisi won't drive dirty, but he's going to force his way through. Contact between them. Silva hits the wall. Let's see who will joker on the first opportunity. Nobody does. Sindray backs up the corner. Parisi saves it in the 11.
Connor's trying every possible little opening to make it just a little bit bigger to squeeze through.
As lap 3 already in the top 2 battling for this championship, and this is a fierce battle. Sindray Silva looks like he clipped the wall in the 63. He's trying to pull away from Connor Parisi in the 11.
And with these two battling, it's keeping McDonald involved, just only a couple seconds behind him. So if they make a mistake, Dan could...
Contact again! They both go into the wall! Connor is faster in that dirt sweeper, and it's killing him that he can't get that move done.
Sooner or later, Connor's going to get fed up with Sindre blocking him like that and not giving him the room.
As Daniel McDonald in the 95, stalking his prey, essentially. If these guys make a mistake, he will swoop in. So dare I say it, these guys in third and fourth are kind of keeping up, and if something goes wrong, or if Parisi puts Silva into the wall, that's the buffer that Parisi will need to get this championship.
It's just like I was saying, when Connor's putting this pressure on Sindre, and you can see he's starting to make just tiny little mistakes.
As the Norwegian tries, he is trying, I should say, to become the fourth repeat champion in the history of the series. Muffed on the 191 Jokers. McDonald has not. Looks like Parisi hit the wall there in turn 2.
As they both ran the same, almost exact lap time that last lap.
Parisi's falling, though. He's losing time. Strategy with Hartley, Okenhaug, Hook, Kraus, Howell, that's all done, and I apologize that we have not paid attention to the back of the field, but of course we have this championship battle to keep an eye on as we take cross flags this time around in Charlotte. No Jokers for the top 2 yet.
Yeah, you'd think, especially with Connor, once you've gotten into this halfway point, that changing up the strategy a little bit to possibly just do something different. Because if you follow Sindre through the Joker both times, you ain't gonna gain any spots or any time on it.
And it's the same stuff that we've talked about for every single week. You don't want to follow a guy because that's not helping your strategy. Like, for example, I'd like to think when I jokered off strategy battling you got a little rattled, and vice versa. Not just following this isn't helping really Connor at all. Jokering in the 11 must have hurt us.
Yeah, I think he got a message on his radio doing that exact thing. So let's see if it'll play out in his benefit.
So clean air really isn't that big of a deal, but I'd like to think mentally, when you see a clear track and you're not following a guy, especially for a championship, you're going to be able to clean up your driving, clean up your lines as we take 4 laps to go. 3.5 now in Charlotte.
Sometimes when you set yourself farther back from that and that's in front of you that you're chasing, you start actually reeling them in, because you just start finding the little things that you need to do to reel them in, and then that actually helps you. If you keep getting
Silva
stuck in
responds. Not to cut you off, Silva responds, but Connor finishes his strategy. Looks like he'll come out ahead of McDonald in the 95. What is the gap once this rotation updates? As we take 3 laps to go here in Charlotte, 3.7 seconds is the gap. I'd like to think that Sindre's going to joker immediately here to cover off this, but if he doesn't, we know Parisi has this advantage.
And they were both within the 44, but high 44 second bracket, doing their jokers.
McDonald holds third, Moftaw holds fourth. That running order has not changed. Sindre will joker in the 63. Where will this put the Norwegian on the exit of the joker from high above? Defending champion will hold the advantage. We'll take a look at the line. The gap was 3.5 seconds. It is now 9/10. So it's essentially a second. That's a huge gap to make up in 2 laps.
Connor did catch Sindre there a little bit, but it was not enough, unfortunately.
As they both missed a race in this season. Sindre in Indianapolis, Connor in Wild West, but he had that adversity in Norway. He's going to be asking himself what could have been if he didn't have those issues. We still have 1 lap to go, and it looks like Parisi is catching Silva.
Unfortunately, there's no one close enough in the next zip code for them if Sindre does make a mistake that someone else could pounce on, so it doesn't look like there will be enough.
Final lap we take. As we get closer to the final corner, Parisi getting ever so close to take this race lead, but it's not going to help him unless Sindre spins and gets turned! Contact between them, Parisi's gonna let him go! You know that Connor Parisi does not want to win a championship that way, and what a sportsmanlike move. As Sindre Silva is going to join Cody Erdmann, Dylan Livengood, and myself as a repeat consecutive champion in the Simracer Coin NASA Rallycross Challenge. Silva does it in Charlotte in the best possible style ahead of Connor Parisi as Matt Hartley, former champion, will get on the podium in the 48. What a run for the Australian ahead of Moftaw, McDonald, Magnus Okenhaug, Hook, Larill, Kraus, and Howell.
I'm kind of curious there what would have happened if they didn't all, the cars behind them didn't all go flying into the air and over the wall. Because they were, like I said, I think everyone was worried about not running over the leaders, and then they were so worried about doing that they ran over themselves.
Let's check out this camera work from Victor Vallee down in the production truck, a lot like the drone cam that NASCAR does, as we watch the celebration of our champion, Sindre Silva. For Fox Gaming, Spark, Last Lap Motorsports. And the Norwegian, like I mentioned, does something that has only been done 3 times before, and that is repeat as champion. And it's hard to do.
Yes, Sindre is kind of doing a little bit of a Gymkhana here.
We can't discredit Connor Parisi's season enough and what could have been without those issues in Norway. But unfortunately, even if it is sim racing, you have to be perfect every single week that you can, and you have to avoid mistakes. In the real world, you have the cars that break down, you have the team that falters, but in sim racing, you have yourself, you have your equipment, your computer, your wheel, whatever. We saw Bo Albert overcome that adversity, and Connor got so close. As unofficially our champion this season, Sindre Silva ahead of Connor Parisi. I wish I could give you all of those points, but that's so many numbers to do in so little time. Matt Hartley on the podium in third, Marwan Moftaw, Daniel McDonald, Magnus Okenhaug, Jason Hook, Robbie Larill, Philip Kraus, and Andrew Howell. Our C-main results: 11th place, Ray Kingsbury; 13th, Matt Kingsbury; 15th, Brandon Lambert; 17th, Travis Seymour; 12th place, Feldman; 14th, Dipple; 16th, Wetz; as 18th, Edmondson; and 20th is Romain Rateau. As we'll bring in Victor Vallee, we'll start our podium interviews, and appropriately enough, we have our champion interview at the end. As I'll go ahead, I will handle Matt Hartley. And let me tell you, the 2020A champion, first of all, congrats on your podium, mate. Second of all, what the hell happened on the start?
At the start, I don't know, mate. I ran wide and almost hit the wall. Had to pull up the handbrake a little bit, and then I just noticed everyone in front of me crashing, and it was like, oh, geez, hang to the left, and yeah, got through. Nice.
As I'm watching it back here, and you were all by yourself. You hit the handbrakes, you didn't hit the wall, and that kind of actually saved you, as everybody else died in turn 1.
Yeah, I seen that. Yeah, I thought, I know, best off taking me jokers straight up, get them over and done with, and then just deal with it and try to hold a nice line, and yeah, it was good.
As I know it's not a motorless motorsports squad, but how are you feeling these last couple of races? I know it's been a while. I know you've had an absence. I don't know anything about like the team. I know it's just you now. How are you feeling? Are you thinking about coming back for a full season next season?
Yeah, I'll definitely be back for a full season next season. Yeah, not too sure the team that I'll be with, but we'll work something out. Yeah, and I'd just like to say thanks to Simon for helping me out with the paint today. That was great of him.
I was going to say, beautiful car for car number 48. Is we don't want to keep you. Is there any partners, any people you want to give a shout out to before we let you go?
Yeah, just a big shout out to Simon Ferris, who done the paints, and also DGR for helping us out in practice and stuff. I practice with them a lot. We're all good mates. So yeah, thanks DGR.
I'm not your agent, but I think maybe the Australian should race for the Australian team. Hint, hint. But
Well,
of course,
Yeah,
there's also a new team that may be coming in that's in GT that may be coming to Rallycross next season. Just saying.
there's
You're right.
some teams there, and you have a championship,
Right.
so you got some pedigree. Good run, my
Yeah.
friend, and we will see you again soon.
Yeah, just a quick shout out to you guys too for putting all the events on. It's awesome. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, sir.
No worries.
Once I clicked the wrong button, and I went to drag Hartley out, and I put myself in the media pen. Oops. Oh,
Good job.
I know what I'm doing. As Cody Erdmann, you'll have a chat with our championship,
Our runner-up.
our race runner-up, Connor Parisi.
Hey, Connor. I know this is you're probably happy to be on the podium, but unfortunately, it's not how you imagine this would coming out.
I knew coming in that the championship hopes were probably thin, because to beat Sindre 101, that's one thing, but to have him fall down the order, that's a whole nother thing. He's got to have some bad luck or something go wrong. So I knew it was just pretty much a fight for one more win, and I think we put on a pretty good show for that.
You guys definitely did. Were you guys expecting? I kind of noticed it in the heat races, and also I was kind of surprised in the final that everyone was playing a little bit extra nice with you two, especially on the start. They were giving you guys room to let you guys race. Were you at least surprised by that?
There's a pretty good amount of respect in here. I don't think there's any too many scallywags in here, so I think everyone was gonna let us fight for it. I did see in my rearview mirror there was a bit of calamity behind us, so maybe we just got lucky.
Yeah, I was seeing you were kind of trying to pull some short track moves on Sindre there. You think you had anything that you could have possibly done to get around him, or did you leave it all out there?
I could have gotten more aggressive. I got into him a few times, but I didn't want to move him, especially in case there was a weird netcode or anything, and he got spun or something and lost the championship that way. So I knew even if I did win that race, I wasn't going to win. So I figured I should do it, the right way.
Yeah, well, congratulations on an amazing season. Who would you like to thank that helped you get to where you are today?
I thank the whole crew at Jim Beaver Esports, especially special shout out to Jesse Isidore. He helped me with the set this week, and then obviously everyone at the in the partner stable. We got Fistful of Bourbon, Dirtfish Rally School, Motorsports Drop, Polaris Razor, the whole crew. It's a good program moving forward, so I'm looking forward to next season, the World Championship.
Well, thank you for having putting on a good show for Josh and I to have some fun up here in the booth, and hopefully we'll see you next season and see if you can give Sindre another run for his money.
Oh yeah, I'll get him next week or next season. I missed the one race, and then I had the computer problems that other race. So if I can make every round and leave the technical gremlins behind, I think maybe I got it.
For sure. Well, we're happy to see you next season.
And Victor Vallee will have a chat with our race winner and our defending and successfully defended his championship, Sindre Silva.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I believe we have Sindre here in the booth with us. Sindre, you finished first tonight, but you did exactly what you needed to do to become the 2021A NASA Rallycross champion, the Simracer coin, NASA Rallycross Challenge champion, that is. Sindre, how'd you do it, man? What'd you do? So you look unbeatable.
Unbeatable is a is a big word, but I know Connor was right behind it all the time. I had so much pressure going on. The sunlight at the end there, I don't know what happened there, but it was so dark. I just couldn't focus on getting in lines, and Connor cashed up on the last lap. I knew even though if he overtook me and got the win, he wouldn't win the championship, so I didn't feel that much pressure, and I saw people. The third place was too far back to gain that time that I needed for me to lose the championship. So just hitting that quali lap, as I said at the beginning. I need a perfect quali, need a perfect heat, need a perfect feature to win this. And I think I managed at least the quali and the heats pretty well.
Yeah, that you did, man. And honestly, going into tonight, did you think you had enough pace to win this thing?
I knew I had the quali pace to get P1. I didn't know, I haven't raced so much on Charlotte, so it was a little bit strange with the awareness of the track and things like that. I couldn't get it working perfectly fine with everything. The setup was, I need to look at that before the Pro Q, that's for sure.
Yeah, and I know before the race you had a little bit of a steering wheel issue. Seemed like you got that fixed. Anything, did that kind of get in your head a little bit before tonight? Saying, oh man, not again. Let's say with mechanical issues. It seems like every championship contender has had some kind of issue this year.
Yeah, I was a little bit nervous for sure. I was nervous about everything. If the power goes down, I'm doing like everything like that. So I was just trying to focus on getting just the laps done as quickly as possible, so you doesn't have the issues coming in. So yeah, it worked out. So that's nice.
It definitely did for you, Sindre. And if you're not nervous, then it doesn't mean anything to you. That's what I've always heard. So glad that it meant something to you. And go ahead and give a shout out to everybody that means something to you, and everybody who's helped you get you here to back-to-back championships in the Simracer Coin NASA Rallycross Challenge.
Spark LLM for awesome support, helping through every event that is. Fox Gaming for awesome support back in Norway, giving good feedback on the races and just supporting all the way through. Our sponsors, Power, Nocco, Adidas, Hørsvik Sparebank and Fjordfjell, with an awesome support throughout the season, and we're looking forward to the Pro Q and hopefully getting into the World Championship once again.
Well, thank you so much, Sindre, and congratulations once again on the win and the championship. Go celebrate, man.
Thank you. I will for sure.
And that was Sindre Silva, your 2021A Simracer Coin NASA Rallycross champion. Josh, what are your final thoughts?
Before we wrap up, I want to bring in Lambert really quick. He's going to be completely blindsided on this. Brandon Lambert, I didn't ask you. I know I didn't prompt you. I want to know your thoughts as you hang up the helmet here in NASA Rallycross.
I'm absolute garbage, and it's time to hang it up.
Sold. Done.
That's why I'm up here too.
I mean, it sounds like why I did it, but I just wanted to I guess hear your side of it. How we were reminiscing at the beginning of the show about how I guess you're the last bit of the old guard that is still there, and stepping away and seeing the competition that's evolved.
It's definitely evolved over the past 10 years.
9
We've
years.
been doing this.
Getting close.
9 years. So yeah, it's been wildly different. It's a whole new ball game now with the move to iRacing from NR 2003, and the way these cars handle is completely different, and it's something that's really niche, and you really gotta get a hold of, otherwise you're just kind of terrible. I wouldn't say I'm like terribly slow, but I am not as fast as the guys that run in this series. I've had fun in iRacing, and I've had fun in our days, but putting all my focus in the GT racing now, trying to get faster in road course racing. So looking forward to just sitting in the booth and calling the shots from up there and running the show now.
Alrighty, my friend. I just wanted to hear what you had to say on that final race. I figured it was more appropriate to give you a little bit of a final interview. I'll let you go finish up with the admin duties, and congrats on a great career as a driver. Not only the inaugural championship beating me, granted it was only 5 wins, it's been a little rough, but you've been around for a while, you've contributed not only for tracks, for templates on the NR days, but really just been a good personality. So I'd like to think from all of us, we'd like to say thank you.
Thank y'all to everybody that runs the series. I know I've been a big part of the series for quite a while, and I've enjoyed every second of it, and I'm going to continue to enjoy it from the the operations booth. So,
Do we need to start up a NASA Solstice Oval League?
oh dear Lord,
That's a good idea. Well, that's another conversation for another day. I will let you go do your duties, Lambert, and we will see you up here next season.
thank you for the send off.
As we'll start with Victor's final thoughts on the season, then go to Cody, and I'll wrap it up.
Gosh, you put me on the spot here, guys, but
That's how I do it.
I know, you always do. I think these guys were put on the spot tonight. Like always, these guys put on a great show with every little bit of effort that they could put into it. They just put everything into it tonight. Yeah, it was a little bit crazy on the first lap of the feature. We saw Rocky Larill, I don't know how, but he got back to 8th after going at least 20 feet in the air. And I think that's just NASA Rallycross in a nutshell. And I'm excited for the future. I know we got a lot of big things on the horizon here that I know we can technically mention, but we're going to kind of keep it a little bit on the down low until we got everything ready to go. So, yeah, I'm just excited for the future, and I think tonight was the epitome of NASA Rallycross competition.
Yes, Cody?
It was a really good season. We've had amazing storylines with Connor rattling off, what was that, 4 wins that he had there? 3 in a row, and making this a really good championship. We had Bo, who dominated the first part of the season. I think the whole series thought that Bo was just going to run away with it. And then we got to mid-season, and Sindre started picking it up, and then Connor, and then unfortunately Bo stepped away to go run a different series. And then we had these two who put on an amazing title fight. I think, like Josh, we've kind of been saying the last couple of weeks, it's a lot of like what we did 3-4 years ago, coming into 2 races ago and we're tied. Like, we had so many battles like that, so it's cool to show that Rallycross, you can have battles like this. Just because you may have not the amazing start to a season, you start getting on a roll, and with how wild these starts are, as we saw here in the final, even though the first two made it clean, 5-car pileup, but back in our day too, we would have had a red flag for that, but we don't do that anymore. So we let them two battle it out, which was kind of cool to see what Connor could do, see if he can make Sindre crack and make a mistake, and he never did. And that shows that, at least this season, that Sindre proved that he deserved to be the champion.
As I can't really put it into more words other than that, and I say the same thing every week, and I really am annoyed that I do that, but each week it gets better and better, and there are huge things on the horizon for NASA Sim Racing, so keep an eye out on the Discord, on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. We got all that kind of fun stuff, reorganizing all of that, and beginning season number 23. Words are hard. It's St. Patrick's Day. I might have had a few drinks. I went to Applebee's a little bit ago, but you know what? That's how we do it here at ASN. So, congratulations to Sindre Silva. 4 wins this season, tied Parisi on wins, and Bo Albert won the 2 races at the beginning of the season. So all World Championship drivers that have won races this season. And granted, it's only 3 cars, but it was a hell of a show all season long. From all of us here at the Automotive Sports Network and NASA Sim Racing, let me think. Cody Erdmann, Victor Vallee, Dylan Body, Chad Irvine, Mike Barry. There's myself. There is Ray Kingsbury. There's Matt Kingsbury, Brandon Lambert, Kieran Forrest. Everyone involved. Hopefully I didn't forget any. Philip Kraus. Everyone involved on that front, involved with running the series, running the show, anything involved. Thank you so much for watching, and we will see you soon for the 23rd season of the Sim Racer Coin NASA Rallycross Challenge. That is tentatively set to start on April 28th. You'll join us as well for the GT America series, the 3rd series of that, on April 26th. But from all of us here at ASN and NASA Sim Racing, we will see you soon. Congratulations to Sindre, and so long, everyone.